All right, so in this problem, it says Fran can clean the garage in 3 hours, but it takes Angie 4 hours to do the same job. How could you write an expression to show the amount of work Fran completes? So we know that Fran is doing one job, right? And she's going to do it in 3 hours, right? Okay, so that expression is going to be 1 over 3. She's doing one job in 3 hours. So on 2, it says, how could you write an expression to show the amount of work Angie completes? So she's trying to do one job in 4 hours. So that's going to be 1 over 4. Okay? So how could you write an expression to show the time it would take them to work together? So that would be one task over, we don't know how long it's going to take them. So if we don't know something, we call that X, right? Okay? On number 4, it says, using your expressions from above, how could you set up an equation to solve for how long it would take Fran and Angie to clean the garage together? So we know previously that it took Fran 1/3, right? That's our expression. And it took Angie 1 over 4. And we're going to set that equal to 1 over x. Okay? And the reason why we're setting equal to 1 over x is because that's their total time together, right? Now, it wants us to solve for this one. So we're going to have to use the LCD. Okay? And if we remember from the last unit, LCD stands for least common denominator. So in order to find the least common denominator, I'm going to teach you a little trick. Instead of having to multiply or list out all the multiples, we're just going to take 4, multiply it times 3, and multiply it times x. So what's 3 times 4 times x?
12.
Okay, so we're going to multiply everything on the top by 12x. So we're going to multiply each of these fractions by 12x. Okay, because that's going to give us the least common denominator. So if I simplify this one, I'm going to get 12x over 3. That's going to give me 4x. If I multiply it, or if I simplify this one, I'm going to get 12x over 4, which is going to give me 3x. 12x over x, that's going to give me, I'm going to combine my like terms, so this will give me 7x equals 12. And I'm going to divide both sides by 7. So x is going to equal 1.71 hours, right? Since we want to talk about this in hours, minutes, and seconds, what we're going to do is, you see how this has 1 hour? We're going to ignore that for right now. But this 0.71, that's really saying 71 hundredths of an hour. Okay, so you're going to take 0.71 and you're going to multiply it times 60 to get the number of minutes. Okay, so if you take 0.71 and you multiply it times 60, what do you get?
Negative? No. 4,200.
Let's try it again. 0.71, 42.6. So you're going to have 42.6 minutes. But nobody talks about minutes in 42.6, right? Like there's no 0.6 at the end. So you see this 0.6? We're going to take it again, and we're going to multiply it times 60 so that it'll give us our seconds, right? That'll be 36 seconds, right? Yeah? Girl, I don't know where you're getting them numbers from. You're going to multiply by 60 to get your seconds. So here's how you would write your final answer out. You would say 1 hour, 42 minutes, and 36 seconds. That makes sense to us rather than 1.71 hours, right?
You want to say 1 hour, 42 seconds, and 36? 1 hour, 42 minutes.
1 hour, 42 minutes, and 36 seconds. Yes.
Great.
Okay? All right. So in number 5, it says Jill can pick 40 bushels of apples in 11 hours. Okay, so Jill is only doing one task, right? So she's going to be 1 over 11. If you put 40 over 11, you're talking about the task that she's doing. You're not talking about the number of tasks she has. She's got one task, right? Like I'm teaching 40 kids right now, but I'm only teaching one thing, right? Okay? So Then you've got Crystal, and she can pick the same amount in 14 hours. So that's going to be 1 over 14. How long would it take them to pick 40 bushels together? So that's going to be 1 over X, because we don't know how long it's going to take them. Okay? So now what we need to do is we need to figure out what my least common denominator is. So I'm going to multiply everything in the bottom. Okay? Okay, so 11 times 14 is going to be 154, right? Okay, so I'm going to multiply each of these by 154x, right? All right, so when I do that, I'm going to get 154x divided by 11. That's going to give me 14x. 154 divided by 14 is going to give me 11x. And 154x divided by x is going to give me 154. So now this is just becoming a solving problem, right? So we're going to combine our like terms, and that's going to give me 25x equals 154. I'm going to divide by 25 on both sides. And that's going to give me x equals 6.16 hours. Now remember, that final exam is going to be stupid, and it's going to have some dumb answer, right? And we don't talk about hours as 6.16 hours. So this 0.16, it needs to change into minutes, right? So I'm going to take 0.16 and multiply it 60. That's going to give me 9.6 minutes. Now, we don't say 9.6 minutes. We say seconds, right? So we're going to take that 0.6 at the end, and we're going to multiply it times 60 to give me 36 seconds. So if I wrote out my answer in actual form, we're going to have 6 hours, 9 minutes, and 36 seconds. Okay? All right, so on number 6, it says, working together, Adam and guy I can't pronounce can mow a lawn in 24 minutes. 2 weeks later, Adam mows the same lawn by himself, and it takes him 33 minutes. The next time, guy I can't pronounce, must mow the lawn by himself. How long would it take guy I can't pronounce to do it alone? Okay, so we know that this is going to have 24 minutes for total, right? Like both of them together, it's going to take them 24 minutes, right? Okay, we know that Adam is going to take 33 minutes, right? And guy I can't pronounce is going to be 1 over x, right? So when I set this up, I'm going to set it up like this. A lot of people ask if this is a subtraction problem. Technically, I guess you could set it up as a subtraction problem, but like addition is easier. Like you're going to subtract at one point or another in this equation, but we want to save that until the end. Okay? So now we're going to figure out what our least common denominator is, and that's going to be 33 times 24. And that's going to give me 792, right? Okay, so I'm going to multiply all this mess by 792x. Okay, and when I do that and I simplify, I'm going to get 792 plus 24x equals 33x. Okay, and here's how that subtraction comes into play. Now we're going to solve, right? Well, we're going to subtract 24 from both sides, right? Because we want our variables on one side and numbers on the other. Still want x by itself, so we're going to divide by 9 on both sides. And that's going to give me x equals 88 minutes. And one of the great parts about this being a whole number is we don't have to do that mess that we did in the last 2 problems. And I'm so about it. So there's one way that this could have been written somewhere, like another way, and that would be an hour and 28 minutes. But that would probably be the only conversion. They probably won't ask you that one. Okay? Oh my gosh. All right. So the school art club at a large high school. Hey, last one. Okay, so they're in charge of designing the school t-shirts and getting them printed. A local business charges $35 to set up their t-shirt printing machine with the design and $4.25 in materials per shirt to print. Create an equation that represents the average cost in dollars per t-shirt if X t-shirts are printed by the business. So what this is saying is how much is it going to cost per t-shirt? Okay? So if I didn't print any t-shirts, I just wanted to set up the printer, it would cost me $35, right? Ooh. So it cost me $35 to do that. So I'm going to have 35 in my equation, right? Each t-shirt is going to cost me $4.25 per shirt, right? And we want to know what the average cost is. Well, when we do the average, we put it over the total number of t-shirts that we have, right? So that's going to be over X. So this equation is going to look like this. Okay? So the next question asks, how much would it cost per shirt if you spent $25 or if you got 25 t-shirts? So this is kind of like when you go on Amazon and you buy like a t-shirt. If you buy one t-shirt, it's going to cost you like $45 to buy that t-shirt. You buy 3 of them, suddenly each t-shirt is $30, right? Like, that's what happens on like Amazon, Etsy, the whole thing. So when we plug it into our equation, we're going to plug 25 into our equation, right? And this is where a lot of people start messing up because you can't plug into the calculator, okay? So I need you to take a moment and try to plug this into your graphing calculator. You must use these parentheses, okay? If you don't use them, you're going to get the wrong answer. Type it exactly as you see it. Okay, so when you plug this into your calculator, you should get $5.65. If you did not get that, then you have a plugging in error, okay? That's user error. Please make sure that you use your parentheses. It asks for 100 shirts. So if I plug this into my calculator, I should get, I should get $4.60. If you did not get $4.60, then something went wrong. Okay? These should be the easiest of the problems. Okay? Please don't make this difficult. Please don't mess up on this one. All right, so someone just mentioned that this should be 100, not 25 in the denominator. Sorry. So you should have 100 in the bottom. I mean, I did that in the last class too, so it's okay. All right. But as long as you get $4.60, you're good. Okay, so we're moving on because we're trying to make sure that we fit this into the time frame. Shush. Okay, so what is the cheapest the average cost per t-shirt will get? Explain or show your reasoning. So what this means is, remember how in my equation, I've got this $35 plus $4.25 per shirt over X? Really, I could rewrite this as 35 over X plus 425, okay? These are the same equations, okay? And here's the reason why. If I took 35 and I divided it by X, that's going to give me 35 over X. If I took 425X and divided it by X, that's going to give me 425, okay? As my number of t-shirts increase, so as number of t-shirts printed increases, the cost per t-shirt goes down to $4.25. The reason why it hits $4.25 is because that is my lowest cost of my t-shirt, right? Like, can't get any lower than that. Okay? If I graph this, and I'll come back to this, I just want to show you this graph really quick. If I graph this in my graphing calculator, I promise I'll go back. So if I put this in my graphing calculator, it's going to look like this. Do you notice how this levels off right here? And it hits right at $4.25? Okay, it will never reach $4.25 because otherwise they won't make a profit, right? We're going to ignore this stuff over here because we can't have negative t-shirts, right? Okay?